I've been wrenching myself over that, so I feel very stuck. I have all these possible different directions I could go, but I feel like if I pick one, I'm walking down it by myself. I don't have my partner with me in it, and that's not the right decision. So I just feel very, very stuck.
Adam and Destinee got married 3 years ago, and their finances started to go down a slippery slope. They signed up for credit cards just to get the sign-up bonus. Now they're living paycheck to paycheck, no budget, and a pile of debt that feels almost insurmountable, and they're just looking for a way out. Over the past several months, Adam and I have been talking about their finances. He's broken down a lot about their spending and their struggle points, but today we do a budget renovation, where I take all the messy details and put it all together in a practical plan that Adam and Destinee can follow to take control of their money once and for all. This is what I call Budget Reno. Want to be the next one for a budget renovation? Fill out the form below and I'll reach out. In Adam's first discussion with me, he broke down their whole financial situation. Up to this point, they haven't really budgeted, but Adam did throw a spreadsheet together to show me generally what they spend in each category, based on their credit card and bank statements. A lot of the spending was fairly normal amounts. Like their utilities weren't anything ridiculous. Water may have been a little bit high. Gasoline was a little high at $500 a month, but a lot of that was due to long drives for work. And groceries were also at $500 a month, which is pretty close to where we're at, so I'm not gonna yell about it. But then there were some other miscellaneous things in the spending that really stacked up. Things like Apple Care, YouTube Premium, and a cellular service with a phone payment. All these totaling like $150 a month. Then their 3 Pomeranians got a solid $350 of their spending every month, which hits the bank hard, especially with their current situation. Don't get me wrong, I have a dog and I love my dog, but $350 a month is a lot. But the thing where their spending was particularly out of control was restaurants. What would you say are your worst categories?
So definitely number one would be just eating out way too frequently.
They're spending $500 a month on eating out. This amount totally changed my opinion of the grocery line. If you're spending $500 a month on eating out, then $500 a month on groceries is over the top for 2 people.
And then number two is we could definitely cut down on our groceries because we're not as intentional as we should be.
But of course, the worst of the expenses that he laid out was the debt. With no budget came a windfall of spending that became clear from Adam's and my conversation.
I would say we have a ton of consumer debt. It's varied between credit cards, personal loans, a vehicle, and the mortgage.
Between our first and second call, they had changed up their credit card situation a little bit, so we'll look at their most recent set of credit card balances. Total, they have 9 credit cards, 5 of which have balances. We've got Best Buy, Amazon, Discover, Lowe's, and Apple's beautifully enticing titanium credit card. $18,650 total in credit card debt, with a total combined minimum payment of $472 for all the credit cards. Then we've got a personal loan totaling $5,957 with a $200 minimum payment. So what's the personal loan that you have?
Yeah, I borrowed that to purchase my car. I actually bought the car on credit cards.
Oh, okay.
I put it on 2 different credit cards, and then I just got the personal loan to reduce the interest and pay those off.
There's $8,502 in student loan debts with $105 in minimum monthly payments. Then there's a HELOC that they took out for a home improvement project. That totals $23,780 with a $335 monthly payment.
We used that to install a new shower in the house, which was about $8,500. We consolidated my wife's credit card onto that as well.
And then of course we have a car payment with a $27,487 balance and a $479 monthly payment. So with the car, it's a 2020 Jeep Compass. I think you said that you're kind of underwater on that. Do you know what it's worth?
It's got 60,000 miles on it, so which is pretty high mileage for a 2020. I would say 17.5 is probably a fair market value for it.
In terms of consumer debt, that leaves us with $84,382, not including the mortgage. Wrapping it up, they have a $65,000 mortgage with a monthly payment of $594. Yeah, 65 is not bad.
I paid $105 for the house. I put $40 down.
Total, that puts their monthly expenses at $5,608.
My wife is a compound pharmacy technician. And then I work as a warehouse manager as my official role.
When we look at their total monthly income between their 2 jobs, that gets us a total of about $6,035 every month, leaving $426 in the positive at the end of the month. Of course, this doesn't include random miscellaneous expenses, so I suspect that it's lower than that. But for the purposes of this video, we're going with that they have $426 left at the end of the month. Now, the total of just over $6 grand is after taxes, health insurance, and a 5% investment into Adam's 401k.
I get a 4% match up to 5% of my income. So I am taking advantage of that.
Remember that investment account. We'll come back to that number later.
I mean, I guess I would just want to add that I'm kind of a personal finance nerd. I do a ton of research, but I just don't have discipline as an individual to achieve the stuff that I know works and I've seen other people be successful with, even though I have done it before. You know, my half of the debts that I had brought into our marriage had been reduced to just the mortgage. And we were on the right track, you know, and then communication issues and just life happening to us and changing jobs a bunch of times for both of us. You know, unfortunately, we racked it back up. So I'm kicking myself for my decision to not stay the course, but it is doable. I've done it once before, and I'm very much looking forward to doing it again.
I will say, as a point of encouragement, your situation is not hopeless, in my opinion. Now we see where they're at. What's the solution? Because the numbers are simply not working for this, at least not very well. When I put all the non-mortgage debts into a debt payoff calculator, the payoff time is over 6 years using the debt snowball. Now, if we add that leftover $426 to the debt payoff every single month, that drops us down to just over 4 years for the debt payoff. Sure, this is a bit more manageable. The problem is this doesn't show anything unexpected hitting the budget. No emergencies, no vacations, nothing unexpected, which means this 4-year payoff time is absolute best case scenario if they change nothing about their income or their spending. So how do we make this timeline more manageable? Because 4 years is still a lot of time. And most importantly, how do we give them control over their financial lives as quickly as possible? Well, I've renovated this budget, so let me lay it out for you. As I go straight to Adam to tell him exactly what I would do to turn this ship around. Let's see what he says. As we jump into this, I'm going to give a bit of a prerequisite. Obviously, you guys are adults. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I would do. Some of it might not be that easy to hear.
Okay.
I see a way out. I don't think that bankruptcy is the answer. I think that there are several ways to get out of this, and I'm gonna throw all of them out to you. So first off, we've got a couple prerequisites before we get to the plan. Number one, we're gonna put them through the baby steps to give them practical steps for how to move forward into financial freedom. Number two, they have to cut up these credit cards. There's a massive credit card problem here, and the promise of points and cashback has tricked them into paying upwards of 30% interest, literally thousands of dollars, all for 1 or 2% cashback. There's a history with credit cards, so these things have to go. It looks like you have maybe 4 active credit cards with balances on them at the moment.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, your
I
Apple.
just paid off the Best Buy last week, and I threw a little party in the living room. It's popcorn. It was awesome.
There you go. There you go. Let me ask you this. What's keeping you from cutting up all of the credit cards that have no balance on them?
Well, currently they are all in a safe. So I don't have physical access to all of them except for 2. The Costco card, because we use that at Costco, and that's the only one where I can say I'm a credit card person. I pay it off religiously. My Apple card is the other one I've kept on me for emergencies, but I'm basically at the max of that. So that is coming out of my wallet today and going in the safe, I will no longer have access to it. I will just carry my debit card and my Costco card.
And I like to hear that. But what is keeping you from cutting them up?
Not what anybody else says, but just my wife's understanding of credit and the need for it and the want for it. And, you know, we were house hunting and my credit score was in the dump anyways. It was, you know, low 6s. It has been coming back up. I don't plan on taking out any more debt. I can't say the same for her. It's really just the uncertainty of our situation and our philosophical difference, right? Like, I don't want any more debt anymore.
Are there certain cards that are a particular problem for you? I mean, the Apple card has the biggest balance on it. Are there certain ones that are difficult to put down because of like benefits or just anything like that?
I've opened various ones mostly for reward chasing, but I'm not attached to any of it now because I realize with the math, not mathing, that I'm getting pennies on the dollar for my efforts where I'm getting hosed on the other end. So I would say the Apple card is the one I have the hardest time with. The balance is currently run up from, my car repairs that just exceeded my emergency fund very quickly. And then the ongoing medical stuff exceeded my HSA balance very quickly. So I had to just come up with money really quick to avoid late payments and that sort of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Well, like you said, there are a lot of other options for high yield savings accounts. I've done a lot of reviews of, accounts that do have, 4 to 5% interest on the high yield savings accounts. I would encourage you to look for one of those, open one up, move that money over there, and then just close down the Apple Card. And then you just don't have to think about it anymore. Don't think about Apple as I have to keep this card so that I can maintain this 4.5% APY interest rate on my savings, because you're losing way more obviously from the credit card interest than you're earning from the savings.
Yeah, you're not wrong. First step is admitting. I think I did that last time. Acceptance is I think harder than admitting.
Yep.
And I'm still working through it, but I agree 100%. I need to get these out of my life as soon as humanly possible and make them go away and don't bring them back.
Yep.
It has not been the right tool for me.
Yep. Yeah, use that debit card, man.
Number 3, Adam's currently paying 5% of his paycheck into his 401k. Yes, the reason is to get the employer match, but it's got to stop, at least for now.
The thing is that you are getting demolished by your credit card interest right now. I mean, you're looking at 24 to 30% interest on your credit cards. The fact that you're trading the 5% that you're saving back for a small match, but then paying 25 to 30% interest on a yearly basis on the balances that you have is taking you backwards. When you have your focus split in too many directions, then it's really hard for you to make progress towards the things that really matter. The last conversation that we had, you had said that one of you all's biggest goals is to just pay off the debt. Right now, saving for retirement isn't helping you with that. It's taking more of an opportunity cost away from just putting more money towards your debt. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I think Mark Cuban was quoted as saying it's a guaranteed return on your money if you pay down a 30% credit card. But to me,
Yep.
just it's 30% I don't have to pay on stupid.
5% in my estimation is going to be about $200 a month. And guess what? $200 a month increases the amount that they have extra to put towards debt every month by quite a bit. Simply cut the investing. Again, for now, we're going to come back to it later. Some of you are going to hate this idea of stopping the investing, but you have to realize that they're paying 25 to 30% interest on credit card balances, when on a normal year in the stock market, you're going to get maybe 8 to 10%. And that $200 extra that they can put towards debt payoff every month, that's another 6 months off their payoff journey. Bring it down to about 3.5 years.
One of the biggest things that's going to help you is actually budgeting. The last thing that we want is for you to stop your retirement so that you can put more money towards your debt, and then it doesn't actually affect anything because you haven't changed spending habits or just natural spending habits. That is going to mean changing up some of the expenses that you have in your budget.
But there's more cutting that we can do with our spend. How about vehicle maintenance? Obviously, not everyone's cars are the same, but we've been fine with our car maintenance fund being about $100 a month. And that's with 2 vehicles with a cumulative 350,000 miles. Yeah, both of our vehicles are over a decade old. Now, I know that they've been dealing with some vehicle maintenance problems, but once they get past this point, I'd like to see the vehicle maintenance drop down from $200 to about $100 a month. If anything comes up vehicle related, they can either use their emergency fund or cash flow it. Then we've got the dogs, the sweet, sweet dogs. Now, I'm not advocating that they get rid of their dogs, but $150 a month for grooming. I would shop around that service, or at least work really, really hard to groom the dogs enough that you can reduce the number of times that you have to take them to the groomer. Even finding a high schooler that likes dogs a lot, they'd probably do it cheaper than that. Let's just pretend we can drop that down to $75 a month. The other $200 is for like medications and flea and tick stuff, so it's kind of hard to change that. All right, I'd also cut out the YouTube Premium, which is gonna free up $14 a month. Every bit helps. I'd pay off the iPhone that Adam has and then find a service that's cheaper. Something like Mint Mobile, they could get away with having 2 unlimited plans for $60 a month.
That right there gets you another $50 towards your debt. It's just one of those things. It's like insurance. You shop it around, and you'll probably find something that will get you the similar service for much cheaper. And any cash that we can free up is going to make a world of difference.
Speaking of which, Mint is actually a partner of this video. And here's why. For a budget renovation, we have to go through expenses and spending to see what can be cut. In the case of Adam and Destinee, they could save a lot of money by going with a cheaper phone plan, something like Mint Mobile. Now, we're switching to Mint Mobile because we can save a lot of money. I mean, they have phone plans that start at $15 a month, and you're not going to lose anything in terms of reliability. Mint Mobile runs on the nation's largest 5G network. You can still get unlimited talk, text, and data for only $30 a month. You can use a hotspot, which is a huge benefit, and it's painless to switch services because it only takes 15 minutes, especially if your phone can use an eSIM card instead of needing a physical SIM card. The eSIM card means that you can start service with Mint Mobile straight from the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to go to any store. Now, imagine that this budget reno is for you. You take the savings from your phone plan and put it towards paying off debt. I mean, we're going to put our savings towards paying off the house faster, but you can do whatever you want. It's hard to go wrong with savings. Plus, my family has used it for years and they have nothing but good things to say, so they convinced us to switch. Big Wireless wants you to think that they are your only option, but don't be duped. Go to trymintmobile.com/CalebBale, also linked in the description, and stop paying more than you have to for your phone plan. Hopefully Adam and Destinee switch so that they can save some cash. Last but certainly not least, I would completely stop eating out. That's right, go cold turkey, no more delis, nothing. Not even the occasional chocolate milk. So now you know how serious I am about this.
The restaurants is almost literally eating up your budget. And if I were telling you what to do, I would tell you to stop going to restaurants entirely, at least right now.
Yeah,
And
that's the goal.
you had said there are certain health issues that require you to, ensure that you're getting enough food during the day. It's going to take some really concerted effort in order to turn around the lunch situation, which I think is what you said is the majority of your $500 restaurant budget.
Yes. Well, I make a concerted effort to try to sit down on a Friday night and say, what are we eating next week? We got to go to the store this week. If we plan it out, we can get everything we need and get out.
Yeah, that's good.
Trying to build new habits. For instance, just this week, we went and we went to our fresh time market, small market, only groceries, nothing weird to look at. We got in, we got out. We pre-made salads for the week for lunch.
There you go. That's perfect. And it's nice to hear that you're already, making some changes.
$500 a month is utterly wild to be spending on food that isn't coming from the grocery store, especially if you have $84,000 in consumer debt. I want to see Adam and Destinee eating at home. It's for sure a sacrifice, but it's one that needs to be made. But guess what? With all those changes, that gives us an extra $1,380 at the end of the month to go towards debt, instead of the $426 extra that we had before we started cutting expenses. Okay, with those prerequisites out of the way, let's get into the baby steps. Baby step 1 is save $1,000 starter emergency fund. No, $1,000 is not meant to be enough. It's meant to cover small-ish emergencies while you're paying off debt and to increase the urgency that you have for paying off the debt. Good news is Adam and Destinee already have some savings, just over $5,000 in their accounts between checking and savings. Now what I would have them do is take $1,000 of that, put that into a high yield savings account. Then I would take the other $4,000 and put it towards the debt snowball. So what they're gonna do is line up their debts smallest to largest, pay minimums on everything except for the smallest debt, and then put all of their extra money towards paying off that smallest debt. Then take all the money that they were putting towards their smallest debt and then put it towards their next smallest debt. It snowballs, it builds momentum. It lets you get some early wins, and it makes paying off those larger debts easier because you have more money to do it as you have paid off the smaller debts. In the case of Adam and Destinee, this looks like paying minimums on all their debts, but putting all their extra money towards their smallest credit card debt. In this case, the Best Buy credit card.
Hey, Adam and Caleb here. I found out after filming this segment that they already paid off their Best Buy credit card. And I did not make a big enough deal about that in this video. That is awesome.
So they've got $4,000 left after setting aside their $1,000 emergency fund. They can actually totally pay off the Best Buy credit card and still have $1,564 left to put towards the next smallest credit card. Then if you take the $1,380 that we found that we had at the end of the month after cutting expenses, and you put that towards the next smallest credit card, you're gonna have that paid off in a couple months. After that, they can hit the Lowe's credit card and they'll have the amounts from the prior 2 credit cards to speed up the process. And so on until they pay off
off all their credit cards. Then they'll hit the personal loan, then the student loan, and then the HELOC, and then finally the car loan. Each payoff then frees up more money to go towards the next payoff. With that $1,380 extra to put towards debt at the end of the month, that takes the payoff of their $84,000 of consumer debt from over 6 years all the way down to 2.5 years. So my question for Adam is, what can be done to pay off this debt even faster? I'm looking at literally everything that we can possibly do. Cutting expenses, which we've already done, and I bet that they could even be cut further. Increasing income, maybe selling things, both of those are options. Personally, I like the idea of selling a Jeep, but it sounds like that's going to be a hard no from Destinee.
One of the questions that I like a lot is, let's say if you had a $20,000 loan on a car and you just say, if I had 20 grand sitting on my kitchen table right now, would I take that $20,000 and purchase this car? Or would I purchase something cheaper that still gets me where I need to go? And then I have another 10 grand or whatever to reduce the amount that we're paying every month towards debt. And that's a question that you all are going to have to ask together, and something that you're going to have to be super honest with yourselves about. It might help kind of show you, okay, this is maybe something that we can actually sell, because we probably wouldn't purchase it if we had the cash right now.
Yeah, I can tell you we've had that conversation, that exact conversation, and it did not go well.
Because you disagree.
Yes, but yeah, we had that exact discussion. She loves her car. It was her last, real purchase before we got married. So to me, I've put a pin in it, because it's not the hill I'm willing to die on. Eventually the payment will fall off, or we will pay it off early, ideally. I just have to restructure around that. She puts tons of miles on. That's a car that makes her feel safe. Her feeling of safety, whether or not that vehicle's safe or not, is important to me as well. So I have to factor in the emotional benefits there of the purchase.
So what else? First of all, I wouldn't go for withdrawing retirement accounts to pay off the debt. That'll come with a heck of a penalty from the IRS, and it'll be taxed, leaving much less at the end of the day to even go towards the debt. The only way that I would pull from the retirement accounts is to totally avoid bankruptcy, if that was a concern. But it's not a concern here, despite what Adam's financial advisor said. When I asked Adam about other things that he could sell, he said,
other than just some weird decor and just some small things here and there, I don't see anything here that would make a substantial difference. Maybe $1,000, $1,500 worth of stuff. We kind of went through things last year and got rid of a lot of things.
I want to challenge them both, though, to look through all their stuff. Maybe you do a garage sale. Every little bit counts. So even if you were to earn $500, that can go towards paying something off. The other option for paying off debt faster is increasing income, meaning put more hours in at the current job, maybe get a second job or start a side hustle, even look to replace the full-time job with something that pays higher. Literally anything to increase income, anything legal and legitimate. Adam and I talked about how this could be a major option for he and his wife, but mostly due to the unpredictability of his work schedule, a second job would not be that practical. So I encouraged him to look at possible overtime options with his current job. And I encouraged him to seriously consider the skills that he has, and if he could work those into some sort of side hustle, or to actually look for another job. And here, as I'm finishing up the filming for this video, Adam actually texted me and told me that he is in contact with another company, so he might be looking for another job right now.
I think the key is going to be looking at this from a non-binary perspective. Don't get caught up in your options being, I either have to have this job or I have to quit, and just look at all of the options, all of the opportunities.
The point is, even just an extra $500 a month helps cut down the debt payoff time to just over 2 years. And that feels definitely within reach. The last option that I threw out to Adam was this: sell the house. Now hear me out. If Adam and Destinee sold their house, they would have likely about $100,000 in equity after the sale. Take 84 grand of that, literally pay off the entire debt, then take the remaining 16 grand and put it towards saving up a down payment for the next house as they rent an apartment, or maybe even live with family. When I suggested this to Adam, he said this.
Yes. I'm glad you brought it up. We did discuss that possibility when we were kind of looking at moving last year, and we both had pros and cons for both. I would, if bankruptcy was our only other option or sell the house, we would definitely sell the house. As someone who managed the apartments just down the street from my house, which is not the best place to live in Michigan, not horrible. My neighborhood's fine. It would cost more than double for rent, and we wouldn't be able to take our dogs. So anywhere with dogs is going to be $2,000 a month minimum, because my house hasn't needed a ton of stuff and I can run it fairly cheap. The math doesn't really math, unless we had somebody who would let us stay with them like rent free, which we discussed that option too, for either her brother or my parents or her parents or something. It wasn't viable at the time, but it's a door I'm leaving open potentially, to continue examining it and see if it would be the right move for us. But it'd be a lot of moving pieces. And then our income just gets hampered particularly for renting, our income gets hampered by rent payments, which replace the debt payments. Whereas if we stay diligent, the debt payments go away and then we have more income to save for the next house type thing. There's a lot of moving pieces, but it is an option.
What I didn't realize at the time was how close that they actually could be to paying off their debt. Like about 2 years if they were really intentional and sacrificial. Being 2 years away, I honestly probably wouldn't sell the house. They have a great rate of 2.5% interest, which would be admittedly difficult to give up. But here's the deal. They have to sacrifice. They have to pay off their debt. It's totally robbing them of their income and their future.
If we're looking at this purely from a math perspective, we have to make the math work.
And if they don't make any changes, selling the house may be the only way they can get out of this mess. Jumping back to the baby steps, after they do pay off their debt in baby step 2, I want to see them build a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund of their expenses. Then they can start saving 15% of their income into retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs in baby step 4, all while simultaneously saving for kids' college in baby step 5 and working on paying off their home early in baby step 6 if they have a home. Then they can live and give generously in baby step 7. This budget renovation was tough to look at. There's a lot of debt to deal with and it's going to take a crap ton of sacrifice. Excuses are cheap and Adam and Destinee are going to have to be brutally honest with themselves, because while there are legitimate things that are going to slow down the process that have to be dealt with, like medical expenses, excuses can slow down the process. I hate to say it, but math doesn't care if you have excuses. It freaking doesn't care. And this financial mess is a math problem waiting to be solved. And we did solve it today, but that doesn't mean there isn't a tough road ahead. And not just sacrifice, but actually changing behaviors so that this doesn't happen again. Ultimately, Adam and Destinee need to get on the same page with their goals and their dreams, because without being on the same page, knocking out these debts are going to be unbelievably challenging.
I think it's really going to come down to what kind of conversations can you have together to find goals that you both agree on, that you can both move forward together. And I know that you know that. I know that you know that.
I very much go out of my way to make sure I involve my wife in everything that I'm thinking about and working towards. And I kind of have to push her to tell me what those things are for her, but it's a constant struggle. I love that we are very different people. But it's sometimes challenging when you're very different people.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why my wife and I are so locked in and focused on paying off our house 8 years early is because we're on the same page. We have the same goal of paying off the house so we have fewer expenses and more freedom.
Do you have any comments about what we've laid out here?
I think it's pretty close to the plan that I had come up with from watching your material and the Ramsey stuff, and just my YouTube channel only suggests that and car stuff to me at this point anyways. But it's a little more scorched earth, which I just have to suck it up and embrace that, because I haven't figured out a way to increase income to avoid that pain point, right? I think I want to stick to the baby steps because the psychological benefit outweighs the math a little bit for me. Like I said, we paid off that Best Buy card and I threw a party at her house. It was a big deal. I put fast flashing strobe light on the TV and had a stroke there for a minute. But, it was very important to me to see that progress where I feel like I haven't made any in a long time.
So 2 things. I want to give a huge thank you to Adam and Destinee for being a part of this, because it's not easy being transparent about something as personal finance. Without them, this episode would not have been possible. And 2, I want to commend them on their progress already, because paying off a credit card is a big deal. Now, if you made it to the end of this, chances are you have debt that you're trying to pay off. And you've got your own financial situation that you're trying to find some hope in. If you're interested in being the next budget renovation video on this channel, then fill out the form below and I'll get in contact with you. Or if you'd like personalized help in figuring out how to break free and make some financial changes in a more private way, you can also book a one-on-one with me down below. Otherwise, I'm stoked for this series, so subscribe here if you want to watch more of these and watch this video next.